In the small village of Ikena, there lived a boy named Daniel. From a young age, Daniel was different from the other boys. While his friends played by the river or ran through the fields, he spent most of his time in the village church, helping the old priest, Father James. Father James was a kind man who saw something special in Daniel. He would often say, "Daniel, you have a pure heart. Maybe one day, you will serve God as a priest." Daniel took these words seriously. As he grew older, he became more devoted. He prayed longer, fasted often, and avoided the distractions of village life. By the time he turned 16, he had made his decision he would become a priest. His mother worried. "Are you sure, my son?" she asked. "Priesthood is not an easy path." "I am sure, Ma," Daniel replied. "This is what God wants for me." With his parents' blessing, Daniel left Ikena and traveled to St. Mark's Seminary, where he would train to become a priest. At St. Mark's Seminary, Daniel quickly became known as a serious and disciplined student. He studied the Bible, attended daily prayers, and followed all the rules. His teachers were impressed by his devotion, and his fellow seminarians respected him. But not everyone at the seminary was as focused. Among the students was a boy named Joseph, who was different from the others. He was friendly, charming, and always seemed to have a secret. Unlike Daniel, he did not believe in following every rule. "God knows we are human," Joseph would say. "He understands our struggles." At first, Daniel ignored Joseph and his friends. They would sneak out at night, whisper in corners, and disappear for hours. But one evening, Joseph sat next to Daniel in the study hall and struck up a conversation. "You are always so serious, Daniel. Don't you ever want to enjoy life a little?" Daniel frowned. "I enjoy serving God. That is enough for me." Joseph chuckled. "You say that now. But the heart wants what it wants." Daniel didn't understand what Joseph meant until one night, when he found himself outside after curfew. He had gone to fetch water when he saw Joseph and some other students laughing quietly under a tree. Before he could turn back, Joseph called him over. "Come sit with us. Just for a little while." Daniel hesitated, but something about Joseph drew him in. He sat down, and that night changed everything. Joseph introduced him to a different side of life, one filled with secret meetings, quiet touches, and desires Daniel had never allowed himself to think about. At first, he resisted, but each night, the temptation grew stronger. Eventually, he gave in. By day, he remained the perfect seminarian. By night, he became someone else. And no one knew. Years passed. Daniel completed his training and was finally ordained as Father Daniel. The villagers back home celebrated his achievements. His parents were proud. His teachers blessed him. He had done it. No one knew the secret he carried. As a new priest, Daniel was sent to work as a teacher at a boys' secondary school in another town. It was a good position, respected, important. But deep inside, he knew he was not the man everyone believed him to be. At first, he tried to stay away from temptation. He focused on his teaching, his prayers, and his duties as a priest. But soon, the old desires returned. He started calling some of the students to his room, asking them to help him clean or run errands. At first, it was innocent. But slowly, things changed. He gave some of the boys special treatment, offering them food, gifts, and favors. He found ways to touch them, small, unnoticed gestures. Some of the boys accepted his kindness without question. Others became uncomfortable, but they did not speak out. Then one day, he met David. David was different. He was strong-willed and sharp-eyed. When Father Daniel tried to get close to him, David refused. "I don't like this, Father," David said one evening when Daniel asked him to stay behind after class. "I only want to help you," Daniel insisted. "No, Father, this is not right." David left, and from that day, he avoided Daniel. At first, it was just whispers. Some students said Father Daniel was too friendly with certain boys. Others claimed he invited them to his room too often. The head of the school, Principal Obi, heard the rumors and called Daniel to his office. "Father Daniel, there are disturbing reports about you. What do you have to say?" Daniel shook his head. "Lies, sir. I am a priest. I would never do such a thing." Principal Obi wanted to believe him, but the rumors didn't stop. More and more students came forward with stories. The school community began to talk, and soon, the news reached beyond the school. People in the town began to question why so many boys were uncomfortable around the priest. Parents complained. The school's reputation suffered. Finally, Principal Obi had no choice. He reported the matter to the bishop. The church investigated, and though Daniel denied everything, the accusations were too many to ignore. The bishop could not allow the scandal to continue. "You have disgraced your calling," the bishop told him. "You can no longer serve as a priest in this school." But instead of sending him back home, the church sent him to a farm, a remote place where priests were punished for failing in their duties. There, Daniel spent his days working under the hot sun, planting crops and tending animals. The hands that once held a Bible now dug into the earth. No more fine robes. No more sermons. No more secret meetings. Just labor, silence, and the weight of his own choices. The story of Father Daniel became a warning. In Ikena, people told their children, "Beware of those who hide their sins behind holy robes. The truth will always come out." And in the lonely fields where he walked, Daniel learned the hard truth: a double life will always be exposed in the end.